So today I'm going to share with you one of my all-time favourite recipes, and that is lime and chilli butter sweet potato hash. Sweet potato hash is just like comfort in a bowl, and it works whatever the weather outside. Now, I might be a bit biased because, as my friends will tell you, I haven't met a potato I didn't love yet. But taking that into consideration, it's still absolutely amazing. Now, I had my first potato hash. It's not as common here in the UK, but I had my first one when I went to Portland, Oregon, way back in the early 2000s. Now, the temperature was so cold outside. It was like -17, and I wanted something really comforting and warming for breakfast because it was so cold. And I found this lovely little cafe, and I went in there and I ordered the potato hash, and it had like crispy potatoes, some bell peppers and other vegetables, and like a bucket load of melted cheese on top. And it was absolutely delicious. Now, when I become plant-based, you lose a lot of the flavour when you take the cheese out, let's be honest. So I wanted to figure out a way of replacing that by using other ingredients so that it was still tasty enough that other people would love and enjoy it, even though effectively it was plant-based and gluten-free. So the sweetness of the sweet potatoes really make a difference. And we're going to roast them in the oven today, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Now, it would not be a sweet potato hash without some sweet potato. So here you can see I have some sweet potato and it's already chopped up, and I've got them in sort of 2 centimetre chunks. Now, I do this so that they don't go too mushy in the oven and they keep their shape, and you can still get it in your mouth with lots and lots of other bits of the food to actually make a really, really nice flavour. So that's the sweet potato. Here I have some courgettes. Now, these courgettes are a similar size, which means they'll cook approximately about the same time as the sweet potato when we put it in the oven. So that's good for us. And we also have here some, I don't know if you can see it, but we've got some red peppers. Now, if you don't have any red peppers, you can add more courgettes to this dish and vice versa. So I've got a bit of a mix going on here. We've got some spring onions on this side. I've got some vegan butter in here, a little bit of olive oil, some sun-dried tomatoes which are chopped up. Now, for this dish, even though I do like a little bit of spice myself, I'm using mild chili powder, and this is the reason why. So it kind of adds like a background warmth to the dish, and we will be adding other chilies afterwards when we actually make it on the frying pan, in the frying pan I should say. But this, because we've got a bit of combination with both, this is really, really good just as a background flavour. What have we got left? We've got some dried parsley and the other chilli flakes, the smoky ones. We've got some fresh parsley that we're going to use at the end just to kind of freshen up the dish. We've got the lime juice, some cut up green beans that we're just going to quickly boil, and we've got some of our plant-based sausages. Now, these are also gluten-free too. I get these from my local supermarket. Obviously it might differ wherever you are in the world. These are pea protein, but they have like different flavours. So the great thing about pea protein is there's no gluten in it. And check the packet just to make sure, but the ones I buy, they don't have any gluten, they're not made of soya, so that's really great for me. They also have really great flavours, so there's red pepper ones, I can get mushroom ones, and I can also get caramelised onion ones, and all of those kind of sausages would work really well in this dish. So just check out what you've got at the local supermarket, and obviously just if you're making it for yourself or someone else who has an intolerance, just make sure it is vegan, plant-based, and also gluten-free. Okay, so that's the ingredients here. Oh, I've just missed out I just missed out the one you can see here in the foreground, and that's the garlic. So this garlic, and yes, there is a lot of it in this recipe, I will admit to that, but we are going to be cooking this in the oven. We're going to be roasting it, so the flavour is going to end up being a lot sweeter and a lot more mellow than you would if you were just to add it to the frying pan later. Some of these ingredients you can cook the day before. So you can roast the potatoes the day before, you can roast the veg, and you can even boil the green beans. And then that means you can make this recipe the next day in under 10 minutes. So I think that's That's all the ingredients, so let's get cracking. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is add the olive oil to the sweet potatoes that are in the bowl, and then I'm just going to mix it in just so the pieces of potato are covered with the oil. Then I'm going to add all of the mild chili powder in too. There we go. And just cover the potatoes. And then lastly, we're going to add some salt for flavour. Okay. Right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put it on the tray. Now you have a little bit of sauce left in your bowl. Don't worry, we're going to use that on the courgettes. So we'll just leave that in there. What I want you to do is to spread out the sweet potato. Now this makes a massive difference because if they're touching, then they're going to start steaming and go a little bit more mushier. Whereas if you separate them and give them a bit more space, then you're going to go a bit crispy on the outside and they're going to caramelise too. So next we're going to take the courgettes and the red pepper and add them to the bowl. Just leave the spring onions, we're going to use that later. Okay, so you may need to add just like a dash more olive oil, but there will still be some in the bottom, and you definitely don't need to add any more chili powder. I will just add a little bit more salt, and then just like we did earlier, I'm just going to mix it all together. As you can see, some of the chili powder is still there and it's actually coating the courgette, which is really nice. Okay, and we'll do the same as before. Notice I'm using a separate pan for this, and this is just to make sure that everything gets the space that they need. And before we put this in the oven, we're going to add the garlic too. And now both this and the sweet potato are ready to put into the oven. As you can see here, we have the veg and the potatoes out of the oven, and also the garlic. So the garlic I just let cool just a tiny bit, just cut the skin and then just squeezed out the insides and then just basically mashed it up with a fork, and it smells amazing. Now we've got all of this done, we're ready to assemble in the frying pan. Okay, so now it's time to assemble everything in the frying pan. So firstly, I'm just going to add the butter and let it melt a little bit. We're going to add the sausage. So next we're going to add the other ingredients. The tomatoes, green beans, the spring onions, the mashed garlic, and the dried parsley and chilies. And it's beginning to have that amazing smell that I love so much with the sweet potato hash. Okay, we're going to add the lime juice now, as we're almost finished. Lastly, we'll add the veg from the oven because they literally only need a few seconds just to heat up. You can already see those beautiful colours coming together. Okay. Now, if you have a big enough frying pan, add the sweet potatoes too. And if you don't though, that's absolutely okay. What you can do with the sweet potatoes is you can actually just heat them up separately and put them on plates and then pile everything else on top and then sort of mix it together then. But as we have a giant frying pan, we're going to do it all in one go. Oh my god, it smells so lovely and warming and tasty. So we're pretty much done. Now's a good time to do a little taste test to see if you need to add a little bit more salt or a little bit more lime, and that's pretty much it. The last thing I would do is just to add some of the parsley to the dish. Mix it in. Just be really careful when you mix it that you're not sort of squashing the veg in too much, because otherwise that's going to end up mushy on a plate. Alright, I think we're done and this is ready to serve. There's no standing around the kitchen for this one. We're going to be sitting and enjoying our comfort in a bowl at the dining room table. So here goes. It just brings a smile to my face. It really does. That kind of caramelizedness of the sweet potatoes, the zestiness of the lime, and there's a kick. You know, with the two different types of chili, there's definitely a kick to this one, and it tastes so good. And you can enjoy it in the summer, you can enjoy it in the winter, any time of year, because it's got that warmth, but it's also got that freshness to it too. So make this dish. I think you're really going to love it. And all of the details, the instructions are below the video. And please definitely share with me your comments, because it really makes my day and also makes me smile too. So enjoy, and I hope to see you again soon. And, you know, just leave me to get on with eating my bowl of comfort. All right, take care.